Alright, so to continue on this ZF6HP26, we'll open up the valve body. I have my new separator plate. You know, I go by this code. This code is fine too, the B052 or the A052. I have a brand new solenoid set. Because I sent these solenoids out to Ericsson's to be flow checked, and 4 of them were no good. 2 yellows and 2 blues were no good. And it actually was a little cheaper to buy the whole set. And here is the computer, you know, the Megatronic unit, and this is your range switch, digital range switch here. So we'll open this up, we'll put the plate in it, make sure everything looks okay, and clean everything up and put it back together. Alright, so I'm going to take all the bolts out, and then I'm going to just separate the 1/2, leaving the plate on the bottom section where all the little orifices and everything are housed. Ready? Now these bolts are all the same size. And right now, we're going to lift this one section out, and again leaving the separator plate on the 1/2 of the valve body. Okay, so this half doesn't really have anything in it, you know, other than your typical valves and stuff. So we'll move that aside for now. And these separator plates on these 6 HPs, pretty much one-time use only. It's almost like it's silicone here or something, but it's pretty much just one-time use. This one, I believe, is from Sonics, makes these as well. I believe that's where this is from. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this plate loose, and we're going to flip it up. Ready? Alright, this looks pretty good here. Okay. Alright, so now spin the we're going to mark all the areas that have the check balls. Where is my center punch? Must have put it away. Okay. Alright, so we have one here. That's one there. And actually, there's another one here. And so we got 1, 2, 3. There's not one there. Normally there is, but there's not. Okay. Right here's a little small screen. And we'll get these check balls out here. Now we have the dampers. Well, down here that we got to get out. Another screen here. Okay. Alright, so that should be all check balls and stuff. Now, I'm going to bring this to the edge and push these up. Alright. I believe that is everything. Oh, wait a minute, we got one more here, which I did mark. Okay. That should be everything. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flat sand both halves. Just going to kind of match the plate up with the new one. And we'll put this valve body back together with all the new solenoids. I'm going to have the trans over here, so I'll probably move it here, and actually we can put the valve body on and put the pan on. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, actually let me get the stone here. Okay, so you know what, I'm gonna just clean these up in the sink here, and I'm gonna get rid of this oil on the bench, and I will be back shortly. Alright, so we got everything cleaned up, and we're gonna put all the bowls and springs, screens, and everything back in here. I'll give you a close-up shot of this. We'll put the valve body back together. Put the solenoids in, we'll finish it all up and install it onto the trans. Alright, so let's do our check bowls first. I'll give you guys a close-up shot of this here. Alright, we've got the small screen. It's going to go here. Then the check bowls. Got the small screen. And then our little dampers. All right, so that's everything back in. What I'll do is I'll just give you guys a quick close-up shot of what this looks like with everything in there with all the check bowls and stuff. Now there's different versions of the valve body. You know, this one's a Jaguar, and this is a manual shift. Meaning you literally have to take the shifter and move it back. You know, so they're different. They're not all the same. And there's also the electronic shift where you hit the button and it goes into park. But I'll give you a shot of this here. All right, there's a shot of the half of the valve body. You have your check bowls, some springs, couple of screens, more check bowls in this area, your dampers along the bottom. And this is a valve body out of a Jaguar. All right, so I'm just going to put a couple of lineup pins here, just to make sure you know, the plate goes down good. You got a couple of check valves with springs. Sometimes the plate may tend to shift. That's good, and that's good. Okay, what I'm going to do is going to kind of, this is a pretty strong spring behind here, so I'm going to hold this plate down. Okay, very nice. All right, now I'm going to put 2 bolts in. And I'm just going to kind of snug these down, because now we're going to flip it. And I'll show you what we're me just move the camera up a little bit. Okay. Got a line-up pin here. And we got a line-up pin here. This one and this one. So this will actually line up our valve body. And you want to be very careful. Okay. Now what I'd like to do is just try to hold this in place here so we can put the other bolts on. And then we'll take this back out again. Because we still got to put the solid ones back in. Okay. Now we just roll all the way down. And we're going to flip this. Put the rest of our bolts in. Okay, let's see. We got one more. There we go. All right, now I'm going to torque those bolts down. Let me get the torque wrench. These I do to about 80 inch-pounds. So we'll start in the center and work our way up. Take this one, take back out. The one that's holding it down? No, actually it's this one. My mistake. Thought that was holding the computer in. continue. All right, now I'm going to flip this, take the computer back off. Nice and easy, very nice. Okay. Just make sure these bottom ones are good here. Okay. All right, now the next thing we're going to do is install the solenoids. So I have written down the sequence. I also have a picture of it on my phone. So let me just get set up for that. I'll be back in a minute. All right, so we're going to install our original ZF solenoid, which I got laid out here on the bench. Okay, and actually the order that these are going to go in is we have a yellow, a blue, a yellow, two blues, the black, and the yellow. Okay, so we'll start with the yellow one first. Okay. Now we have the blue one. Here, when I sent these out to get checked at Ericsson's, 4 of them were no good. And this only has 58,000 miles on it. That's how much of a problem that these solenoids are. I mean, pretty much no matter how many miles are on the car, you really got to send these things out to be checked. Okay, so we have the yellow. This actually is yellow, blue, yellow. Okay, then blue. Then we need the next blue. Okay, then we do the black one. And the yellow one. Okay, so once again, this is an M shift or manual shift valve body. Okay, if this was an electronic shift valve body, it'd have a solenoid on this end. But this is not the case with this one. Okay. So now, next thing we got to do is get our hold-down bracket. You know what? Let me just give me 2 seconds. I just want to clean this stuff up. All right, here is our hold-down bracket here. Okay, very, very nice. Nice fit. Perfect. Okay, I think these are, if I'm not mistaken, no, they are 27, but they were 25s. Okay, now we're going to get a little extension. I think I have one out. I do. Okay. All right, this is our hold down bracket for the solenoids. Very gently. Okay, so these, pretty much the same thing. About 70 inch-pounds. Now we're going to flip this and put the computer on. And also we got to make sure we catch the manual valve for the range sensor. Make sure these solenoids all go in. Okay. Very, very nice. Manual valve is caught. Went right down. Perfect. All right, so let's get our bolts for the computer. Okay, one here. I'm going to go with this manual on this one. Okay, got the manual valve hooked up here. Now we will tighten these down. Okay, I think that's it. Okay. Valve body is complete. Now let me get set up. I'm going to get the unit on the bench. We'll put the valve body on and, finish assembling the unit with the pinion, the sleeve, and button it up. Okay, so I will be back in a few minutes. All right, so before we put this valve body and pan on, we can give it a quick air check. All right, so this is going to check our A and E clutch packs. Okay, that sounds good. And then down here we'll check the rest of them. Okay, that's good. Good. And that's good. And I think this is maybe lube here, but sounds good. Okay, this would check the B, C, and D. Okay, so we're ready to go on with the valve body. First thing we got to do is we got to put our bridge seal. Okay, this again, I always like to change it because they do crack and it would leak some pressure. So say for instance you had an E shift or an electronic shift, meaning you had the push button to park, put into park, you push the button. If this block, bridge, some people call it a bridge seal, some people call it a Megatronic block. If this was cracked and losing pressure, when you put the car into drive, with this block cracked, it would jump right back into park. That's pretty much a classic sign that the block is no good. That's on the E shifts. Okay, so we're going to set this valve body in place. Got to make sure we catch the manual valve here. All right, it may stick up a little bit because, you know, you have the seals on the bottom, but this seems okay. All right, so we'll get our bolts ready for that. Okay, these are T40, so we're just going to do 2 of them. Make sure this goes down okay. Okay, feels good. All right, we'll put the others down. All right, these I do to about 90-95 inch-pounds. Even 100 inch-pounds probably be okay. Okay, now we're going to put our sleeve in. I don't know if you can see, I don't think you can, so let me, maybe I'll back out a little bit. All right, let me just switch angles here to get down by where the sleeve is going to go. I want to get this in the shot and putting the sleeve in as well. All right, so we have our sleeve ready to go. This has, if you look in the center, I don't know if you can see it, but there is one line-up tab. So it's only going to really go in one way. And we'll push it in and push that right down, just like that. Okay, so that's good. Now the only thing left we have to put on is the pan. Okay, so let me just get set up for that, and I will return. Okay, now we're going to put our pan on, and again on the filter. Now the one thing I look for, and you guys can't see it, but it says Filtran made in Germany, so you know this is an OE pan, and also came out of this box, ZF. All right, a lot of times people come in, whether it be, you know, a BMW or a Jaguar, and they're inquiring about a transmission service, and I run the VIN and it's the 6HP26. I said we're going to change the entire pan because it's incorporated with the filter. Okay, so we're going to grease up the O-ring on the filter. Okay, pan is on. Let's do our bolts. Also, if you call, if it's, I get the pans through my supplier, but if you call BMW for the pan, they may want to sell you the bolts as well, which is fine. Sometimes, you know, as many as I do with these, it's always good to have some extra pan bolts laying around, because some of these, you know, being it's a Torx, and some of these come through with, these are 40s, but I think the early ones came through, I don't know, they were either 30s or 27s, and these bolts are much better. So if they want to, you know, if they say you should get the bolts, you know, it would be up to you, but might be a good idea. I might need a couple of more missing. Must be on the bench. Yep. All right, so let's make sure this goes down good. I know there are aftermarket pans out there. I honestly have never used one. I think I spoke to a couple of people that may have used one. I think they said they may have, the cars came back leaking. But on these high-end cars with these type of transmissions, I wouldn't use anything aftermarket if you gave it to me for nothing, because it's just not going to work right. Especially on these ZF units. I had another Jaguar with a 5 HP 24, that I did an overhaul on. Okay, what Jaguar does is they pull the unit out, they send it to me, I overhaul it and send it back to them with the converter and everything. So they install the unit, and they call me up and they tell me the transmission is making a noise. So, you know, the first thing we do is said, let's get the car here to check it out. And I'm driving the car, and it sounds just like on a Chevy transmission called a THM 400, Turbo Hydromatic 400. When you get a clogged screen with any transmission, when you have a clogged screen, it kind of makes a high-pitched whining noise, because that's the pump starving for oil, and the pitch changes as you race the engine. So the car's driving perfectly, but it has this noise. And I said, it sounds just like a filter noise. So I called the guy I was buying parts from at the time, and I said, hey, you know, I'm getting a filter noise from the 5HP24 filter I just got from you. I bought all the parts from him. And I said, did you send me an OE filter? And he said, yes. Okay, fine. I didn't really pay attention. So I said, well, then that's something wrong. Send me another one. And he sent me another one, installed it, same problem. So I elected to call a ZF expert that I'm in contact with. He lives out in the Midwest, and I was talking to him about it, and he says it's definitely a filter noise. You're right about that. And he says, you got to tell me one thing on the filter. Does it say made in Germany? And I said, no, it does not. It just has an engineering number on it. He goes, then when you got an aftermarket filter, and you can't use aftermarket filters on these transmissions because of this problem. So, long story short, I caught this guy selling me a $5 made in China filter for $40. And then I finally got the right one. I looked at it, said made in Germany, installed the filter into the 5HP24, drove it down the road, and the thing worked great. Noise was gone. All right, so we're going to tighten this up. So with these high-end cars, I would not go aftermarket on anything. All right, this is going to be about I do 105 inch-pounds on this pan. You know, at the time when I heard these, you know, I believe there are aftermarket pans. Not really sure who makes them, but they're probably, I think maybe for $20 or $30 more you get the OE pan, and you know, to me it makes a world of difference. I wouldn't, like I said, use anything other than original OE ZF parts on these transmissions. And when it's done correctly, these work really, really nice. Okay, so we are pretty much done with the assembly of this ZF6HP26 for this 05 Jaguar. The converter is here. I sent that out to be done. And tomorrow morning we will deliver this back to the Jaguar dealership. All right, so I thank you for watching the video on this 6HP26, and everybody have a great day.